Hey y'all, welcome to the tea. We are going to dive right into our conversation for today. But before, let me say who I am. I'm Sybil, and this is my lovely co-host, Miss.
Grace.
And we are asking, what do you fear most? Fear of success or fear of failure? And it's got to be one or the other, okay? Because we want to know which one you fear the most. We want to know your take, so be sure to drop it in the comments. But before we get this episode started, Miss Grace, take it away. You know what it is.
USAA. Thank you to our sponsor, USAA. Everybody get your phones out and scan that QR code right there. It'll take you to the Military Spouse Resource Hub that USAA has on their website. Lots of lovely resources and tips and tricks that you can use in your life. So thank you, USAA, for keeping us going for each episode every second and fourth Wednesday of the month.
Alrighty. So, Miss Grace,
Yes, ma'am.
what do you fear most?
What do you think I fear most? What do you think my answer would be?
No, I asked the question.
I know, but I'm curious. What do you think I'm going to answer? I mean, I'm going to answer it, but I want to know what you think my answer is.
I'm going to say fear of success.
Really? It's
Yeah.
actually fear of failure. Failure. Fear to fail. That was a really weird word. My throat. This is weird. Okay. I am afraid to fail. And to the point where it will hinder me from like even taking the first step of a lot of things because I think of all the things that can go wrong. I think about just the overall picture of like, what if it's not a success? And I think that draws back to like my childhood and growing up. Success was like driven in me, expected to have good grades, expected to go to work, expected to have a great job, a great career, a great this, a great that, like all these different things, a great athlete, all these different things that were instilled in me as little. It's like I just expected to do the work to reach the success, and failing was the fear. You know, like the goal was success, but failing was the fear. Did I really have a reason to fear the failure? Probably not, but it was just where my mind was at.
Now I understand it's where as your childhood things are ingrained in you, and so then it's. Do you think it was more of the fear of letting your family down more so
Yeah.
than you just failing? Because I feel like if you fail, you can try again.
Yeah, you can try again. And I think to me, like trying again was like, why am I going to do all this work if I'm going to have to try again? You know, like if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right the first time and get it done. Like that's my mindset. Like it's going to be right. I'm going to do all this work and get it done. So I don't have to redo it. And so to think that I might have to start over or that I'm not going to reach that point, it's like, oh, do I even want to do this? You know?
Well, Miss Grace, let
Yes.
me ask you this question since you talked about, the fear of failure and having to start over. Now, here at MilSpouse Conversations,
Uh-huh.
I have failed a lot. So, what keeps you around on this journey with me? Look, this is y'all. This is a real conversation. Grace, like, shoo.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that question. To be honest, when I think about it, I think when you have a partner or someone that you can like just go through the journey with, it kind of takes a little bit of that pressure off because you're not in your head so much. I'm not only dependent on myself, I can depend on someone else. And, you bounce ideas off of me and you tell me these stories and all these different things. And so you build that relationship, that rapport with someone, and the success feels like it's in reach, and failure doesn't really matter because it's just a journey at that point. But I think when it's solo, that's when I get too much in my thoughts. So staying with MSC is easy. There's no question about that. Like I got civil, it's all good.
Well, Grace, can I be honest with you for a moment about MSC?
Yes.
I have a fear of success with MSC. And this is an honest and very hard conversation for me to have, but it's facing that fear. It's the part of facing everything and rising.
Mhm.
And me and my lovely husband, as Grace, as you know, he sits me down quite often. And he asked me, he was like, are you afraid of succeeding with MilSpouse conversations? Or are you afraid of failing? I was like, dude, I fail all the time. Right? I'm okay with busting my face, but I have found that the previous 2 years, I have done more self-sabotaging
Mhm.
than really striving to do the best that I can with MSC. Now, I show up, right? We show up every week. Last year, every week. This year, we cut it down to every 2 weeks because we were tired. So every week. But I realized that I have a fear of success, not in my personal life, but in the entrepreneur journey, and
Mhm.
especially in the military spouse space. That is where I have a fear of success. It sounds crazy. Does it? Does it sound?
What's the like what's the root like what is the definition of success that brings out the fear? Like what does success mean in that area?
For me, with success, it's people wanting more. People having the perception that you have more money, more time, and more energy to give. And I'm
Mm.
like, hey, yo, I don't. Right? Because the more successful you become, the more, yes, true, money you make, but also the more money you're spending,
Mhm.
the less time you have. But something that I notice in this space, and it is going to carry over to the real military spouse team, has been something that has been on my heart and my mind for years. For years, for years, for years, for years, for years. Is the misconception of when you have an officer spouse and that officer spouse doing something in the community for the community is, oh, who does she think she is? She's just wearing her husband
Mm.
ring. That's all she's doing. And that is where my fear lies.
Wow.
There,
That's
I
really
said it out
interesting.
loud. Soldier's wife, crazy life, who is watching. I've had this conversation with her silently, and she
Mhm.
was a conversation starter. I said it out loud. There you go.
That's super interesting. And I think it's a shame fact because like you voiced before, but like plenty of times of like the separation between like a military spouse and being a spouse in general. And to hear like that's where it lies is pretty interesting. But
Yes.
you know what? I mean it's a fair statement. There's a lot of times where that is the perception, right? Like people would look over you and look at the military service member and see their rank and then they judge you. You know, they're not taking in what you're giving and what you're representing and what you're bringing to the table. They're looking at rank first and then relating that to the rank. So I see that.
Yeah. But you know what? All of that fear is over with for me. So if you're in our group, I dropped a song in the actually, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in the comments right here too. Because guess what? Sorry. I did not mean Grace. Talk to the audience. Finding song.
Most most people drops her song. I was thinking about like the specifics of the question of failure and success, and it's kind of hard to have one without the other. Um,
Sorry.
I think it's a matter of the size of failure for me. Like if it's just like a little thing that I can keep to myself, I could probably deal with. But I think public failure is the true fear. Like I don't want to fail in front of everybody. I don't want to be judged and remembered that way. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. When I
All right. So I just
people
dropped the song in the notes, and it's Dr. Dre. Um, I'm Dr. Dre. I'm not gonna play. Y'all can listen to it on your own time. But his opening of the song, that is how I feel right now. Because it's like day after day after day after day showing up and
Mhm.
trying to do something good.
Mhm.
And even with success, right? And you see it all the time. You have people in the comments, you have people, they're just, they come after you when they think you're doing well.
Mhm.
People come out and criticize you. In my personal life, hey, I'm cool with it, whatever. But for whatever reason, there is that fear
Yeah.
of it in my entrepreneurial journey. Even when I
Mhm.
worked for other companies, I didn't care. I didn't
Yeah.
care as much as I do with my own business.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that fear is done. It's done, over, it's gone. But I also feel you, Grace, with the failing publicly.
Yeah. I used to fail on my own. I'm the only person that knew. But when you fail publicly, that's a whole nother thing.
They're like, oh, well, dang.
Mhm.
But you know what? I own up to all my failures. I just be like, yeah, we're gonna try that again.
Yeah.
Like, look, we'll be honest. We've had virtual events and had no one sign up.
Mhm.
Did it hurt? It did. Did I walk away feeling like a failure? No, I was just like, well, dang, Grace will try again.
Yeah.
But it's okay, right? It's
Mhm.
okay. It's okay because you have to fail before you
Yep.
can
For
succeed.
succeed. Mhm.
So it's all good. All good. So let us know in the comments, folks. What do you fear most? Failure or success? And while y'all do that, Grace is gonna give us her "There Ain't No Way."
So my there ain't no way for today was actually something that I heard in passing from like a little snippet of a podcast, and it was talking about your energy. And I recently have been drinking Celsius. I posted about it. I don't know if you saw my post. Not often, but when I really need to pick me up, I'll have Celsius. It's like the green tea, no fizz ones, because sparkling anything is disgusting. But anyways, they said that when you take an energy drink or you drink a cup of coffee or an espresso, Americano, whatever it is that has a high amount of caffeine, you actually want to try to like take a little nap after you do that, even if it's like a 5-10 minute nap, because the caffeine doesn't happen right away. So you're expending more energy while you're waiting for that caffeine to pick up. And then by the time it picks up, your body's pretty tired. So if you take a nap, by the time you wake up from your 5, 10, 15 minute nap, the caffeine is going to be working and you'll have double the energy because your body has rested and the caffeine is flowing through you. So if you have the opportunity to cat nap, drink some caffeine, take a cat nap, and then you'll be double energized by the end of it. And that's why there ain't no way for today.
Wait a minute, you said cat girl, look. My cat naps turn into a full
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, your body will probably wake you up because of the caffeine anyway. But yeah, like 5 to 15, 20 minutes at the max, and then you'll be double energized.
Grace, look, girl. I not so much now because I don't drink caffeine anymore, but I used to be able to drink coffee and go to sleep. Like drink it and literally go to
Like
sleep and
stay to
sleep for like
sleep.
4 hours.
No.
It didn't do a thing for me.
Mm,
Now caffeine just gives me the jitters. I am
yeah.
on edge, paranoid, like literally paranoid.
Wow. Yeah, no coffee, no caffeine for you, Supple.
Yeah, no, no, I do not do it I'm like, what the heck is going on? And that all actually started after my stroke.
Mm,
And I've been asking questions, but now that I'm back in the DMV
mhm,
where my stroke happened and
mhm,
the doctors who were taking care of me before, I'm like, I am going and I'm going to ask them, make that appointment. I'm going to ask them, hey, this is weird. This is something that has started happening. It happened
mhm,
shortly after my stroke. What is going on?
mhm.
Oh, I see a comment here that I want to look at. Young people liking to see you fail or suffer. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Who's who calling you?
I have my do not disturb on, but my husband is the only one that can pass through, and he's calling me. That's like his third phone call.
He needs to talk to you.
We just had a conversation about looking at the calendar before you walk out the door so we don't interrupt things. We just had that conversation. I would be like, go watch the episode, sir, so you can hear yourself in the background.
Hey,
I shoot a text real quick.
You know what? That's the husbands for you. My husband does the same thing. I'm like, dude, do not disturb. What are you doing? You know what today is. You know what time it is. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do my segment real quick.
Okay.
We're gonna just go ahead and knock out these segments.
Sounds good.
All right. So stroke talks. So with our conversation being about fear, I do want to talk about a therapy that is needed for stroke survivors, and that is mental health therapy, right? It's always pushed for the physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. But if you have a loved one who is a stroke survivor, please, 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 please support them in receiving mental health therapy. I didn't think I needed it. I said, no, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Until I wasn't fine. Until my husband and my children sat me down and actually threatened to take me to a facility and admit me. I'm facing my fears today with being very open and honest about some of my struggles during my recovery of stroke. Some of those hidden scars that you don't see. Physically, I have no signs of stroke, but there are the behind the scenes recovery, and one was my mental health journey. And I'm not afraid to share about it. So that's my stroke talk for today.
That's good. That's super important. I think a lot of that gets like pushed behind when you go through something that affects the rest of your life.
Yes. And Grace, you did hear me have my little chuckle. Grace pointed out to me earlier this year, and I appreciate it because I needed that, right? And I was like, yeah, I know I laugh sometimes. She's like, it's okay. It's your little nervous laugh. It's fine. And yes. And Grace, while we're talking about fear, I'm gonna tell you this. So me and my middle daughter went to the grocery store because we're back in DC. And we visited the first grocery store that I went to after my stroke, after I was released from the hospital. And part of my occupational therapy was to get back into the real world. And I went to Wegmans. I remember going to Wegmans. My husband was with me. We walked around the store. I had my list. I shopped, but I got to the checkout and I said, I'm going to check out by myself. But I did not know how to do. I could not process things to check out. And just standing there, right? Had to ask for help. Actually, the poor cashier was like, "Are you okay?" I remember her asking, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, because I didn't know what to do. I just couldn't process it. But me and my middle daughter, Ayla, we went to Wegmans the other day. I checked out, but then as soon as I walked out the store, tears just started flowing.
What a success.
But I was like, you know what? I'm facing my fears because I was excited about coming to the area, but I was also a little nervous about coming to the area, especially without my husband.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's going to draw back a lot of different experiences and moments and emotions and fears and all these things. But I think the beautiful thing about that is now you get to spend that time turning those all into successes, over time. And maybe one or two of those will be a failure again, but it'll eventually be a success. And that's a beautiful story.
Yeah. Thank you. And then I went in Wegmans. I was like, okay, let's shop. Let's get to the cash
Mhm.
register. I walked out, and my daughter, she's like, "Mommy, what's wrong?" I was like, "Nothing." And I was like, "You know what, Sybil? It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Just
okay. It's
sit
okay
in
to
the
feel.
car, let the tears fall."
Yeah, have those emotions. It's good. That's a healing process, you know? Your body's recognizing that.
Yes.
That's super good.
All right, but I have a lot more to say about fear of success, which I will do a separate live and talk about it because I could talk about it for days, especially on the entrepreneur side
Mhm.
of the house. Because, like I said, personally, I'm like Dr. Dre. That's how I feel. I'm like, y'all, all of y'all, if y'all don't like me, but there is this fear with business in
Mhm.
this space. It's like my Mamas and Coffee and my Stroke Talks. Those are
Mhm.
two other brands that I have. Hey, fine, whatever. But there is this really weird fear of success in this space. But okay, let's go ahead and get to the real military spouse tea segment.
Okay. Let's do it.
So we see this in Facebook groups, and
Yes.
I've heard the chatter amongst groups of fellow military spouses, and there's always the rank wearing spouse, or in a Facebook group, if someone says, "Hey, we're I can I just say, because these are things that I have been thinking for years, and so I'll just say it. Yes, my husband is an officer. Yes, he is a senior officer. When you meet me, I'm just like, hey, I'm Sybil. Right? Most people don't even realize I'm a military spouse if they don't see me with my husband, right? They're like, oh, okay. But I see it in groups where there's a spouse. Hey, we're O3 family, O4 family, O5, O6, whatever O family, looking for military housing. And then there's a comment, oh, she's wearing her husband's rank. Why does she have to say what her husband's rank is? Now I'm thinking, look, Grace, girl. I'm sorry. I'm letting it all loose today. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this spouse she is saying, hey, this is what our entitlement. We're looking for military housing. We're whatever. There's different housing based on your active duty member's rank. So it's eventually going to come down to it, right? Because if you give me a list of
Mhm.
housing for whatever location, oh, I'm not, I can't live in that housing.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, when we went to Japan, my husband was at 04. I posted in a Facebook group because I did not want to be that officer spouse, right? I didn't want that perception. So I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, my family, we're moving to um, Japan. We're moving to Yokosuka. It's a family of 5. Can someone give me information
Mhm.
on housing? I wanted personal experience on housing. Well, some people started giving me a list of housing. One spouse like, oh, what's your husband's rank? I did immediately. I withdrew. I was like, oh, why you ask me my husband's rank? But then I thought about it. Well, that's a fair question. That's a
Yeah,
good
it
question.
relates to housing.
It's
Mhm.
and if now on the other side of
Uh-huh.
the rainbow, right? Because I just feel
Yeah.
like I've
Mhm.
crossed over after doing this for so many years. I'm like, if I see a spouse say, hey, we're whatever family, can you give me information on the housing? I'm not
Mhm.
thinking that she's trying to wear her husband's rank. She's just getting
Mhm.
to the information that is needed.
Yeah. Mhm. I mean, that's the reality of the military. It's rank structured, and that affects how much money is coming in, that affects the types of jobs they may or may not do, that affects where they live, that affects all kinds of different things in the military. It has nothing to do with the spouse's entitlement. It's just the reality of if we need to get stuff done, that's sometimes what you need to know. Even in Pendleton, the rentals for the beach houses, the pay for or the prices for that is based on rank. So if someone wants information on how to rent a beach house, you're gonna have to put your rank in there if you want the right price. Like, it's just the reality of it, like, it is what it is. Now, if you're the spouse and you're like, I am a this you spouse, you know what I mean? Like that, I think that kind of is a little bit different. But if you're just we're this family, yeah, that's the rank of the military member. You know what I mean? I mean, I see a line where it crosses when that becomes like someone's whole personality. But when you're just trying to get information, I mean, that's just what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And I believe this too. And again, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. And I remember early on, and my girl was like, yeah, I don't want to be lumped into the rank wearing spouse. So I never said anything. I was just like, let me stay over here to myself. But and I wrote a blog post about it. I've shared it about, again, some of my fears within this space. And it's like, but why, as any spouse, I don't care what your rank is, I don't care. And I say your rank because at the end of the day, I'm not saying it's your rank, but
yeah,
your ID does
in the family. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, and that's just like as a military family, I say, oh, okay, yes, my husband is the one doing the work. He's the one who's promoted. But I'm like, oh, we were promoted because at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it, Mr. Jones, his accomplishments, I have been there for every single one of them. I've been his biggest cheerleader throughout every last one of them. When it's time to PCS, when it's time to move a year early, a year and a half early, whatever it is to make sure he is staying on track, guess who is in the background being his cheerleader?
Right.
So doggone it, I do say, we. I do. But I also think that regardless of the rank wearing spouses, because I mean, as you said, there are some out there. Is it really the rank wearing, or is that their personality?
It's their natural personality, and the rank is a way to present that. Honestly, is what I see. Like, if they weren't in the military, that person probably wouldn't be any different. Is what I would assume. They're going to be the same way, but they don't have that extra little title to throw on top of it. So I agree.
And again, and going back to the whole fear thing, that, Grace, when it comes to MilSpouse conversations for me, and I've let that go this year. Like, I was like, 2025, we're going to show up and do what we do, right? Because there's also that within the ranks, how should you present yourself? I'm really like, I am that wife who shows up to the parties. I'm like, okay, hello, y'all. I'm like, from the window, because that's me. I am not the wife, regardless if my husband was active duty or not, that's going to walk in and sit down. I went to my neighbors the other day, Monday actually, for a cookout. They invited some friends. 45 minutes in, they were like, we can't wait to meet your husband. We want to meet the man who puts up with you every day.
That's funny.
Because I showed up and I was just like, hey, y'all invited me. I'm here. They introduced me to some of their other friends.
That's good. That's really good, and I think honestly the military community needs a lot more of that because I think depending on how involved you are and what things you're involved in, a lot of people put up this wall, this pretend wall, I like to say, of what they think they need to be because of the military. And like, we're all just people, you guys. Just be you.
Yes.
Just be you. That's all we need. Like, yeah, it's their job. Yes, it becomes the way of our family and stuff, but we're still people and we can still enjoy each other, still have a great time, still joke around, still do the silly things. Like, it's no one's gonna get fired, I promise.
Hey, I'm like, hey, because when I meet people, I'm like, hello. I connect with you
Mhm,
for you.
mhm.
Grace, we've talked about this before, right?
Yes.
I'm like, if I met Grace out somewhere, I would speak to her, but
Mhm.
I probably wouldn't say too much to her. Grace is a lovely person. I love Grace. Grace, I love you. But in our phases of life,
Mhm.
she has
Yeah.
littles.
Mhm.
I have almost all three of my kids are almost grown. We're just in different stages of life.
Right. Mhm.
It's not it's not anything against her because she's a Marine spouse
Right.
or
Mhm.
because I don't know exactly right. And that was we did talk about rank before
Yeah, we did.
years ago.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, no, I don't know any of the conversation starters' husbands' rank because
Yeah.
never
It didn't matter. Like,
didn't
we're just
matter.
people. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh, we all vibe together on camera. All right,
Mhm.
cool, bet.
Right.
That's all
Mhm.
that mattered to me.
Right.
And yeah, if I met you out, like Grace has little, my thought was like, oh, she has littles. Oh, the little kids. Oh, they're nervous.
Right. Mhm.
But yeah, so real military spouse tea. The question is it rank wearing or is it the person who is reading the comments or hearing what has been said, their perception being off? Which is it? That's a
Big
question,
ol
Grace. That's
I'm 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 debating how to say this. I'm, like, nodding 'cause I'm, like,
look,
listening to my
Grace.
brain.
Today's topic is fear. We are not afraid of what we say or how we say. Look,
There's always that hesitation. I think it's the perception. I think it's the type of person, and I think rank is a way to express that. It's a outlet. So I think it's all about perception.
it's all about perception. But I'm like, if someone posts in your Facebook group that they're a whatever family looking for housing, don't-
Use context clues. Like, if they're looking for housing, you know that the rank is related. Now, if they're like, there's 4 parking spaces and we're a general blah 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 blah, don't park in my space, and they're public spaces, well then, you're
well,
you're
look,
rank wearing.
if it's in front of my house, don't you park there.
I used it. That's why I said the parking spot. That's why I said it.
Like, don't park there, doggone it. But back in the day, back in the day, they used to have the blue and red stickers on the car.
Mm.
Yeah, you were
They
young.
did it away a year before, or the year that we got stationed in Pendleton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we didn't have to do it. But other cars still had them on, but we just didn't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, it really was more so for the full bird, the 06, right?
Mhm.
That was what,
Mhm.
because I mean, everyone else, you just parked where you parked. Now,
Yeah.
like in Bahrain, my husband, he had a designated spot for parking for
Mhm.
him. But then for me, he was on my cars because you had to have your car registered
Right.
to be able to
Mhm.
go on base there.
Mhm.
He had a
Yeah.
placard, and he had a designated spot on the other side of base. But on the main base, his placard, it had the full bird. Well, guess what? If I drove it, Guess where I park? I did take I did because I mean
Mm-hmm.
why not? Look, Grace is like, and I'm like, I wonder how many people are like, why is she parking there? Well,
I
because
mean, it's y'all's car. It's for the car. If no one else is gonna take it, why not take it? I mean, at that point, like it's the family car, right? So you're in the car. What's the difference?
yeah, like park there. And actually, that parking spot, the ones in Bahrain, they're away from the exchange, so it wasn't even a benefit. Of
Right. Yeah, it's just the
like
designated spot.
over there, I'm like, shoot, I done drove around 50 times looking for a spot. So
Yeah.
let me take that spot. I have the
No.
placard right here.
Yeah. No, I think that's
But yeah, but fear. What do you fear more, success or failure? And if it is success, what do you do to self sabotage? Let us know in the comments. I will do a separate live later, and I will tell you the things that I have done to self sabotage. But that is no more, folks. No more. And one last thing, because we got to go. Fear.
Go ahead, Sybil.
Hold on. Fear, Face Everything and Rise is coming to Washington, D.C. on October 23rd. I will be releasing more information about that soon for registration. And this is going to be a full event, not a full day. We're not going to be there with you all day long, but it is going to be our first in-person event, like our first real event, and we want you guys to come out and support.
Yes.
So if you're in DC, you know about it. If you're not in DC and you know people in DC, let them know about it, and let your friends and frenemies know about MilSpouse conversations. They do not have to be military spouses to enjoy our
Right.
conversations
Mm-hmm.
or our tea.
Yes.
All right, folks, if nothing else, we're going to go. I'm going to go put my desk together, Grace.
You do that, Sybil. Have fun with that.
Mm-hmm. I'm fearing it a little bit.
That's right.
I'm
Just
afraid of
in
it
your
a little
eyes.
bit. A little bit. It is a standing desk.
Oh, nice.
So as long as I don't break it, putting it together. All right, folks.
Bye.
Thanks. Have a good day.